The world's best $500 speaker. That sounds like a clickbait title, but it was not meant to be a clickbait title. That is because the speakers behind me from Starke Sound, based out of Canada, called the Beta 5s, are indeed what I feel. I don't think any other speaker at $500 can even get close to these. These are the kind of products we need in this hobby. All right, another week, another video. You guys know, as I say before, I love to find unique things within the audio world. And I don't just mean exotic unique. Sure, I review a lot of expensive items here, but I only review those expensive items if I feel that they deliver their worth. If you're going to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for an audio product, for me, it has to sound phenomenal, it has to be built well, and it has to be able to last for years, if not decades. So I review expensive items when they fit this criteria. I also like to seek out and find very affordable products so more and more people can get into this hobby and see what two-channel listening can be, to see how really, really amazing, immersive, and heart-touching it can be. You know, you hear people talk about music, the emotional connection to the music. You can get that with a lot of systems, and you don't have to pay a fortune for it. I'm talking about some speakers today from the company Starke Sound. Now, I'll admit, I never heard of Starke Sound, but I got an email from Starke over there saying, would you like to review some of the best $500 speakers ever made? And I was like, yeah, right. A manufacturer tooting his own horn again. But I went to the website and they looked like they were really nice quality. And at $500, you know, I think of speakers that you find on Amazon, you know, like the lower end Klipsch range or the Elax, which I've reviewed both of those over the years, those kind of speakers. So he sent over these speakers. And when they arrived, I was like, holy wow, this box is way heavier than I thought. I think the box, it wasn't like it was heavy, but it was like 40 some pounds, it felt like. So on the side of the box, it says Beta. These are the Beta 5s. They also have Beta 7s that are a little bigger for bigger rooms. So when I unboxed them, they each came in their own cloth bag, which is something I normally see in higher end products. So the packaging here is really, really good. It's not an afterthought. I will say that recently I received a set of speakers in the $2,600 range that were small. The packaging was awful, just styrofoam all broken up. They were in like a little paper bag, and I won't even go there right now, but these here, the Beta 5s, were in really nice packaging. And I was like, how could they sell these for $500 and offer this really nice packaging setup? So I took them out of the box, and as I was pulling it out, I was like, oh, you know, it was a little hefty for my one arm. I was down on the floor here. And they're only, I think, 15, 16 pounds each. So they're not super heavy, but for a speaker of this tiny size, and they are so small, I'll throw up a video on the screen here so you could see them next to the Fleetwood Helios that are in here as well. These are tiny speakers. So I was setting them up, and of course I started with the system I have in place, the Vinshine Kinky Studio Dazzle integrated amp, the Audio Mirror Wave DAC, which I'm in love with this DAC so much, and the Matrix NT1 streamer that recently came in. I'm going to have a review for that streamer soon, so be sure to check that out because I do some comparisons with it against some pretty well-known streamers. But anyway, so I have the high-end setup in place, and I pull out my little stands that the Dynaudio Stand 6, and they fit perfectly on them. I sit in my chair and I pull up my playlist from Tidal, and I'm using the NT1 streamer direct with Tidal, not Tidal Connect. And Nobody's Fault But Mine comes on, right? From, I think, Ry Cooder. And This song has a lot of atmosphere to it. You have the guitar, it's a bluesy song. His voice just sounds so present and real. There's reverb trails, and I'm used to hearing this on the Helios or the T+A Talus R330s. And on those, it's quite the immersive experience. So I was ready, I was like, okay, ears, get used to this sound. These are $500 speakers. And I remembered the last ELACs I had in here that were around $5 or $550, maybe $6. And there was, they sound really good for the money. But always in this kind of price range with speakers, whether it was the old Klipsch RP600s from years ago or those ELACs, there's always kind of a hollowness going on with the sound. The speakers are kind of lightweight, built nice, but not anything to a higher level. Out of the gate, these speakers in design, in build, and parts quality look way more like a small, high-performance, high-end $2,500 speaker. So the song comes on, right? I sit there, and I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it, what these were sounding like. The sound was huge. The sound stage was wide. A few feet in front of the speakers, there was an atmosphere of music going on. It wasn't the tallest sound stage like the Helios, but it was a beautiful sound stage, and there was absolutely no hollowness to the sound. Now, before I go and dig deeper, I want to tell you guys the specs of these Starke Sound Beta 5 speakers. So Starke Sound says these are a precision-engineered bookshelf speaker designed to fit effortlessly into modern living. It says the acoustic DNA of our flagship products is here in this small speaker, and it's meant for small to medium spaces, delivering clarity, depth, and emotional impact far beyond its size. It says just plug it in, no hidden ecosystems, just great sound in an instant. Fill your room with music. Now here we go. A 29mm large voice coil tweeter and a 5¼ dry carbon acoustic sandwich woofer with HEMF technology deliver precise imaging, natural mids, and expansive treble. Tight control bass and a wide, stable sweet spot create a soundstage that feels bigger than the speaker itself. Whether listening to music or watching movies, Beta 5 transforms every moment into an immersive experience. It goes on to say every part, transducers, crossover, and cabinet is engineered to the highest standard. Precision two-way architecture, exceptional phase coherence, and impressive dynamic range with 108 dB max SPL deliver punch, accuracy, and musicality rarely found in this class. I agree with everything that was written on their website. That's not marketing hype. And no, I wasn't paid for this review. I don't make commissions. There's no affiliate links here. This comes from the heart. That's how I do my reviews. And these speakers just blew me away. There is precision in the imaging. It does create a wide, stable sweet spot. The bass is present and pleasing, and it can be punchy. I threw on some Lindemann, and it's off the live album, Skills and Pills. That's a song that I used to like a lot just because I like the groove and I liked the way it sounds. It sounds like you're really there. Now, it's not, a song for everybody. It's a crazy song about taking all kinds of drugs and all this stuff, things I don't do, but I still think the song is fun. And it has a nice beefy sound with crunchy guitars and big drums and the live crowd. And this has always sounded best for me on bigger speakers with bigger bass, like the T+A Talus R330. It's an experience like you're there at the concert. Even the Emotiva Nostella LB12s behind me deliver that track in a big way. So usually with small speakers in that track, the sound shrinks, the bass kind of gets tinny, or not tinny, small, I should say, and the voice gets a little hollow sounding. Here I was once again in the 6th row of the show, and I was like rocking my head back and forth the way these drums have impact. The guitars are crunching. Oh my goodness. I'm getting a little bit of goosebumps here thinking about that experience. not because it was like the best I've heard it. I've heard it better with different speakers, but because these are $500. And I actually get excited when we find a product that's in this price range for many reasons. But the main reason is because it allows so many more people to get into this hobby. These are the kind of products we need in this hobby. And we have many of them. But many of them people hook up and they're like, oh, this doesn't sound like I hear people describe with the emotional connection, the immersive listening. These do immersion. These were blowing my mind. I was listening to some instrumental piano, and this is really hard for small speakers to do because when we like to listen to gentle piano music or aggressive piano music, at least me, I like to hear the weight of the keys. I like to hear the weight of the instrument. Like it sounds like a real piano. I like that with drums, right? I like that with acoustic guitars where there's a little bit of weight to each pluck, so it feels real. So listening to some piano music, it wasn't the biggest, weightiest experience. You can get bigger and weightier and more real, but for their size, I've never heard a speaker of this price or this size recreate piano in this way. I could say the same thing about ambient style music. I was listening to Hanging Valleys, and there's a track that's kind of surreal, floaty, spatial. It's called Behind the Backs of Houses. I have no idea what the heck they're saying in it, but you hear them like humming and saying something, but I just get lost in the music and the flow of the music because it is a real immersive track when it's played on the right system. And usually, again, smaller speakers like this, that song will sound very good, but usually it doesn't sound immersive and suck you into the music as these do. So overall, out of the box, I was very impressed with the packaging. I was very impressed with the heft and weight of these. That usually shows you there's a little bit of quality going on. I was very impressed with the design, with the driver quality. And then once I heard them, after listening to these for the last several days, the last few days, I am... There's no way anyone can tell me there's a better $500 speaker. These are more in line with speakers I've heard that are $2,600. I've heard a lot of speakers. There was one brand, I'm not going to say the name. The speakers were $8,000. They were a little bigger than these. And these sound just as good as those. Those were great speakers, but they were $8,000. These are $500. So upon inspection, looking at them, picking them up, I'm like, where are the flaws of this speaker? The binding posts for your speaker cables are great quality. They're not exotic level quality, of course, but they're good for a $500 speaker. They beat the pants off of every other $500 speaker I've come across. The build is exquisite. There's nothing sloppy here. I love them with the white front plate. And where are these grills? Hold on. They come with really nice looking grills too that are quality. These are quality feel grills. Now they're not magnetic, they snap on. So someone's going to say, well, yeah, you're playing these with an $8,000 amplifier and a $20,000 DAC and a $4,000 streamer. That should make anything sound good. But electronics, your source is king. Source is very important. But what if we go to, say, a WIM Ultra, right? WIM Ultra amp, and this is a 100 watt per channel amp. It is a killer bargain. It's like $529. It comes with a remote, a voice remote even, and it has a streamer, a DAC, a display screen, and an amplifier. With this amp, some $39 speaker cables, and these speakers, you're looking at total of under $1,100. And you can have a small room system that is killer. When I went to the WIM Ultra, here's what happened. The detail retrieval changed in the way detail was presented. Instead of every sound separated, they were more melded together. There was a little bit more of a warmer, smoother sound versus a more expansive sound. The sound stage shrunk a bit in every direction, but it was still sounding very, very pleasing, very musical. And these speakers, that's what they are. They are very musical. I'm going to stop because I can just go on and on raving about these, and it just sounds like a hype advertisement. And again, this is not an advertisement. Wasn't paid for this. I don't make money if you buy them. I'm going to make probably a couple $100 from the ad revenue from this video, and that's about it. But I love when products come in that are such high quality that you're thinking, this is a $2,500 product. And then you look and like, these are $499. So check these out over at Starke Sound. I will give them a link in the description below. It's not an affiliate link. I don't do those here unless sometimes on Amazon. Yeah, check them out. These are amazing. They also come in black. So if you want the black front plate, so you can get that. And I think there's different finishes you can get as well. Best $500 speaker in the world, bar none, 100% fact in my mind anyway. I haven't seen or experienced anything of this level in the speaker world at this price. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I love you all, and I will see you really soon in the next one. I have a slew of things here that are coming in, and I might have to move my listening room for some crazy reasons that I'll talk about soon in a video. So in the near future, I might be in a different room doing these reviews and listening. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.